Why do you hate space games?
We're gonna do this now?
Yes, we are.
We're gonna do this now?
Right now.
You're gonna bring this out now?
Yes, I
You're
am.
gonna bring the apocalypse onto us both?
It's time.
Alright.
Might as well do it now that we're in HD.
Let's do this. Why do I hate space games? Starting one. Space is where creativity goes to die. You see, in space there are no rules that govern what can and cannot exist. There's only the laws of physics, so you can create whatever comes to mind. The wonderful world of Harry Potter is created in lieu of our real world, meaning that us muggles don't see it. It's a creative mix of imagination meets real world perspective. However, the Star Wars, the Star Trek franchise, what is that? Oh, well, it's a space alien. Yeah, there's no definitions or characteristics other than the ones we give it. Creativity is defined as what you work with once you're inside of a box, as in taking something that's mundane, ordinary, i.e. our lives, and turning it into something that is mystical and interesting and different. However, there is no creativity when you create something in place of absolute nothing. It's unlicensed, unbridled avant-gardism, and it detracts from our entire idea of what is creativity. Two, as a viewer or as a player, I have a lack of an ability to connect to the actual thing that's happening. Look, I can connect to a game where I physically play as a gunman or I play as a bootlegger because it connects to our rich history as humans. However, what I can't connect to is what Garblock on the alien planet of Numama 7 is going to do with his space ray because his parents left him all alone. I don't care about that story. It doesn't intrinsically hit close to me as a person, as a family member, as a human, as a son, as a brother. It doesn't hit me anywhere. And that is why space games are crap. Dan? Carl Sagan! Dan? What am I doing?
You're playing Cosmic Encounter.
Boardgasim! 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 Boardgasm!
Cosmic Encounter is a game of galactic conquest and negotiation. The goal of the whole game is to establish 5 foreign colonies on 5 planets that are not your own. At the start of the game, you pick a set of multicolored alien ships and the planets that happen to go with them. You set them up in front of you and you put your ships on them. Everyone's dealt a set of cards, and then the phases of the game commence. A round has 7 phases, and at the end of each round, the 7 phases will merely start up again. Round 1, you regroup. In the center of the table, there will always be this little cardboard token called the warp. Whenever someone loses ships for any reason, unless removed from the game, they go to the center of this. There's also this little numerical chart on the bottom, I guess you could call it, that'll allow you to keep track of who's leading and who's not. During the regroup phase, you merely take one of the ships from the center and add them back to any colony you might have, your choice. Second phase is the Destiny phase. You draw the top card from the Destiny deck. Whatever color it shows, that particular player you will be having a fight with this round. If you draw your own card, you could fight with someone in your home system, or you could just draw another one, your choice. After the Destiny phase has been established, you move on to the launch phase. You take this token, which is called the Warp, and you point it at one of your opponent's home planets. And then you put so many ships on the other side of it to represent how much you're attacking with that round. However many ships your opponent has on his planet, that is how many ships he will be playing with this round. You then go to the Alliance phase. The Alliance phase is intriguing because it can turn Cosmic Encounter into a complete game of negotiation or immense dickery, depending on who you're playing with.
This guy.
We then move on to the Phase 4, which is the Alliance phase. At this point in time, the offense, which is whoever's turn it is, is allowed to invite anyone he would like to ally with him. And he gives a speech if he so wishes and says, oh, hey, join me, don't give in to terrorism. And then the defense, whoever the current player is fighting against, has a chance to also give a speech and invite anyone he'd like. You do not have to invite anyone. You could invite no one, or you could invite certain people. So, oh, he's one away from winning. I'm not going to invite him. After everyone has given their speech and given their invitation, starting to the left of the offense, each player, in turn order, is allowed to give 1 to 4 ships to each side. Once someone has picked a side, it then moves on to the next player, and it goes around until everyone has a chance to either side with someone or pass for this particular round. Phase 5 is the planning phase. Each player picks a card out of their hand and lays it face down in front of them. Once each person has picked something, we move on to phase 6, which is the reveal phase. That is merely just flipping over the card and showing what happens. Phase 7 is the resolution phase, so whatever occurred because of said cards is resolved. Now, the reveal phase all comes down to what each side played, and the particular types of card in this game have a main effect on that. Most times, people will just play an attack card. How an attack card works is it'll have a numerical value ranging from 0 to 40 on it. You take that numerical value, plus however many ships you had in the battle, plus however many ally ships were given to you, and you add them up. That is your total. Whoever has the highest total, 9 times out of 10, will be the winner.
Rocking horse. Attack value of 8. Dustpan.
The reinforcement card, however, may change that. People, after cards have been flipped, may toss in reinforcement cards to either side, provided they allied with someone or are a main player, and that will add to the total. Cards can keep being added until it's basically clear that, hey, no one is going to throw in any more cards. The totals are now final. What are they? The morph card merely turns into whatever your opponent played, and there is only one in this game. There are some in the expansions, but we do not have those at this point in time.
Good work. Subtle.
Subtle. The other card that is played at this particular point in time in the game is called the Negotiate card. Now, depending on what cards are played with a Negotiate card, changes things. If an attack is played against a Negotiate, it does not matter the attack value. A 0-0 could be played. You could outnumber your opponent 10 to 1 ship-wise. It still doesn't matter. If an attack is played against a Negotiate, it is an automatic fail. Whatever side played the Negotiate loses. All ally ships go to the warp. The offense claims the planet, and they move up a point. However, if you are an ally, you just kind of get screwed over. But if you are the defense and you played the Negotiate and were screwed over because someone played an attack card, you are allowed what is called galactic compensation. For however many ships you sent to the warp, you take that many cards randomly from your opponent's hand. It's thematic-wise, it I guess is the universal way of saying, hey, you were willing to talk this out, and your opponent was an absolute dick and did not. If a Negotiate is played against a Negotiate, in the following order this happens. First off, all allies take their ships back, put them wherever they would like. This is just going to be between you and your opponent. And then someone keeps a time. You and your opponent have 60 seconds. You need to figure out something. Anything. Something must be traded. And by traded, I don't mean, hey, I'll give you this card for the same exact card. No, that doesn't count. Someone must gain something. You could say, hey, I'll give you a colony for a colony. Oh, okay, sure, why not? And you both will move up a point. I will give you so many cards if you give me a colony. Or I will give you 3 Negotiate cards for 3 attack cards. Your choice on which one you give me. Something must trade hands. If after 60 seconds nothing is negotiated, or one of your opponent just says, hey, I am not going to do this whatsoever, this negotiation fails.
Hey! Hey! You want to trade?
Not at all.
All right.
Other types of cards that can affect gameplay are as follows. There are artifact cards, which is kind of like the game's Monopoly chance cards, I guess you could say. You play them at certain times in the game, and they'll do certain things, and it's written right on them, like, oh, okay, free all ships from the warp, or screw someone you hate. It doesn't say that, but it's really what it is. And take 3 of their ships away and put them in the warp. And after you use them, they are discarded. Flare cards are a particular special kind of card in the game. They're kind of similar to the aliens, which I will explain in a moment, and they give you a random power once per encounter. You can actually only play 1 per round. And there's only so many of them in the decks, so you play them and it'll allow you to break the game in some way, like, oh, you no longer need to do this, or when this happens, you gain this. And they're highly sought after as well. Some aliens in the game will actually allow you to steal them. As a whole, everything I've explained so far is pretty simple, and I know what you're thinking, like, well, what makes this game that great? So far, it just sounds like negotiating a win, kind of like diplomacy. The aliens themselves are really what make this game great. You get 50 right off the bat, and I know over the different versions of this game that have been created, there's something like over 200, I believe. And each alien has a different power. Some of them have multiple powers that allow you to break the game in certain ways. And that really is what gives this game its flavor, because you get random aliens each particular game, unless you decide, okay, well, we'll just choose what we want. So each game you're going to be playing with a different set of alien powers. And each alien is totally different. Like, humans are, their alien powers described as mostly harmless. If they're an ally or they're a main player, always add +4 to their total, which in and of itself is not that great. It's a nice boost, but also if cards are played against them, they automatically win a round. So they kind of get an immunity against, flare or artifact cards. The variety in this game is almost endless. I have yet to play a game in which the same aliens came out. In fact, someone out there will probably do the math for me. I think you'd have to deliberately try to have the same aliens twice.
I am from the Business Nebula. I control the deck. And for a mere 10% fee of giving me a card, you may draw a new card from the deck.
I am Janitor Oculus, king of the supply sector of the Sanitation Nebula.
Do bear in mind, with aliens, your home planets don't count toward your score, obviously. With the aliens, their powers are not eternal. Well, there are 1 or 2 that are, but for the most part, your alien powers can go away, which gives you incentive to actually defend your home planets. Because if you don't, and you are booted off of 3 or more of your home planets, you actually flip your alien over and you do not have its power anymore. You do not get it back until you repopulate 3 or more of your home planets. So, good idea to defend your planets, unless you want to lose your alien power.
Hello, and welcome to Component Breakdown with me, Jerry. The components of this game are, they're intricate, they're actually well thought out. I mean, don't get me wrong, everything's a bit cheap. Specifically, our version of the game came with a messed up purple ship that everyone refers to as the nipple ship, because it is a bit smaller than the rest. It looks like the scrapings of plastic. So, interesting. There it is, just a tiny little thing. But the components are kind of cheap. The cards are of decent stock. They're a bit thin, but everything's pretty decently made. I will give credit to where credit is due. The artwork on this game is interesting, simply because there's somebody in charge of drawing what they think each alien is out there. And regardless of how we feel about discrimination here on the planet Earth, in space, it's considered quite acceptable, which is interesting. The artwork on these cards really depicts some interesting characters. Say, for example, every alien is generally, he looks like he sounds. Say, for example, here's the hacker. You can see this nice, nerdy-looking gentleman. He has a Pip-Boy, for your Fallout fans, on his wrist, which goes ahead and communicates. He's got a screen that's being projected from his eyes and a microchip in his head, because that's what aliens named hackers are like. Then there's Miser. I enjoyed this guy. He's a big old fat guy smoking a cigarette, sitting on some sort of galactic glider, because the Miser, he doesn't roll any other way. Then we've got our trader, and our trader is, I guess this is what they consider to be a handsome gentleman of the space. He is wearing a silver suit, a beautiful silver suit, and his hair is quite well groomed, even though he looks like some sort of weird fox. He's carrying a briefcase because he's a trader. So galactic discrimination, although not funny, is a very serious concern in Cosmic Encounter. Other than that, I salute the artwork of the game. The components are cheaper, but a lot of their time and development went into these cards. So the aliens, their powers, everything like that, and designing extremely stereotypical aliens. So I give the game full credit. Oh, look at Clone. There's 2 of them. Oh, here's Spiff. Don't even know what he does. Parasite. Oh, it's a snail. Vulch. Looks like a Vulcan. Macron. The pacifist, I enjoy this, the pacifist, he's got his fingers crossed, and the description of him is a simple but ungainly race. The pacifists long ago learned how to turn the power of an opponent against him. Always ready to demonstrate the superiority of retreat in unbalancing an aggressor, the pacifists now seek to bring the universe to its knees by yielding at just the right moment. The pacifists. So despite the card discrimination, the game is actually decently well designed. I mean, nothing stand out as fantastic, glorious parts, but the artwork is good, the general feel is fun, and I'd say components, success. Boy, Dan, this sure has been a fun game of Cosmic Encounter.
Indeed, it has.
Do you think that, maybe I can go home now?
No, Jerry. We still have 3 more games to play. Now, do one of your funny songs that you do in every video. Sing me a tune.
Of course. Cosmic Encounter. Somebody please help me.
Good. More.
Cosmic Encounter, somebody please help me. Cosmic Encounter, somebody please help me. Oh, now that I caught him, you know I'm gonna chase him down. I'm gonna kill him. Oh, now that I caught him, I'm gonna chase him down. I'm gonna get him. Oh, now that I caught him, I'm gonna chase him down. You know I'm gonna kill him. Oh, now that I caught him, I'm gonna chase him down.
So how long do I gotta stay like this?
6 games of Monopoly.
Now!
Yep. The game that I like, nobody else does. Okay. So, Cosmic Encounter.
Encounter in the cosmos.
That twine is making you wistful. Well, thank you, Mr. Nimoy.
Indubitably, sir.
What's you rating?
My Cosmic Encounter is one of my few 10s, I won't lie. I absolutely love this game. Hilariously, I owned it for over a year before I played it for the first time.
That was my fault.
Admittedly, yeah. Like, let's play that Cosmic Encounter. It's a space game. No! But when I finally did play it, I fell in love with it right off the bat. Like, right off the first game, because I was like, I see what this game can offer. This is going to be different every single time we play it. And hilariously, even like the negotiation phase in and of itself is one of the best parts of the game, because nothing causes quite as much hilarity and anger as negotiating a possible 4-way win with only one other person not winning.
Oh gosh, Tom.
Poor Tom.
Yeah, this Cosmic Encounter is a great game, as sad as I am to admit. I don't like space games. For the reasons I listed earlier, it's not even a Boardgasm joke. I legitimately get bored with space games. Because of the lack of connectability. But this one is good. It really is. It gets the 2 things that I'm always stressing, which is replayability. It nails that. And it's also just a crap load of fun, and that's important too. So, Cosmic Encounter is, the variations on the aliens make it an intriguing experience. You're always playing a different game. And as I've played, I've still very rarely drawn an alien that I've played with before. It also has the discussion in there, which for people like me is golden. Because give me an ability to wheel and deal, and I will walk away. I've won this game many more times than I've lost it. Including in teams, I've formed alliances. I've been a real evil dude for this. So I've had a lot of fun playing Cosmic Encounter. So hilariously, even though it's a space game, which always hits me I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, which is my highest rating that I've ever given out. Cosmic Encounter is a blast.
Indeed, it's a good game.
It's a good game. Yeah. So, you ready to break out Monopoly?
No!
Always with the yelling. Thanks. We're Boardgasm.
Have a good one, folks.